What it do, baby? English Wednesday. We did a Thursday. We did a Friday with Angela Price. But today it's English Wednesday. And my guest at this time is pretty great. Pretty special. He my dude. A lot of people compared me to him when I first started. And we talk about that on the pod. We did that podcast 2 months ago. So 2 months ago we recorded that. So before all the movement with Black Lives Matter was fast-tracked and was pretty hot right now, and I'm pretty proud of my people. Well, I'm pretty proud of everybody because we ain't taking no shit from nobody anymore, and that I'm proud of. So we recorded that 2 months before everything that happened with George Floyd. Also, I just want to mention this. So Maya Moore she was a player for the WNBA. She decided to take off for a full year because she wanted to help a guy that was wrongly accused of something, and the guy was accused for 50 years in prison. 50 years in prison. Maya decided to help the guy, and as of this week, the man is out of jail. She did what she had to do. She killed it. These are the stories that this podcast will talk about. I haven't heard that story anywhere else in Quebec or in Canada except this podcast. And I'm pretty proud that we talk about her. She took off for a full year to help a man wrongly accused. And it happens often to black people in the state. Often. What a superwoman. What a superwoman. So I wanted to mention it. So my guy Cabbie. So I DM'd Cabbie and you know, we started talking, we clicked, and he said, yeah, I'm coming on the pod. I think he spoke 80% of this pod, but it's so great because everything he's saying, because my English is not the best. Hear me out. My English is not the best. I'm trying, doing my best. But everything he said was pretty fun, was pretty cool, was innovative and thoughtful. So let's go. Let's listen to Cabbie and KR talking. Follow us on Instagram at Sans Restriction. Baby! All right. So it's English Friday, and I have, one of my favorite guy in the world, and I didn't even know the guy. I just saw the guy on TV and said, damn, this dude better be my friend one day. And today I have the opportunity to speak with him. My man, Cabbie Richards. How you doing, man?
Bonsoir. Je suis pretty good. And that is the end of my French. I apologize for butchering your beautiful language.
That's all you have. I mean, you live in Toronto. That's all you have?
Listen, Kev, if you're a young lady, I'd pull out a few more tricks in my playbook, but that's all I got for this.
I see you.
Is a bonsoir.
Bonsoir, man. How's the quarantine going for you?
The quarantine, man.
Yeah.
I put on so much weight. This is terrible. It's a legit quarantine 15. Why am I snacking all the time? It is so easy to just rip through a series on Netflix or Hulu or Apple TV and then just kill a whole bag of chips or a couple of bags of popcorn and just sit there and just be a disgusting pig. And that's what I've leaned into. Other people have leaned into ways for self-improvement. They're reading, they're doing yoga, they're meditating. People are exercising at home. Me, I'm killing salt and vinegar chips.
Oh, vinegar chips? Oh, don't tell me you're a vinegar chip guy. Don't tell me that.
What are you talking? That is the ultimate. Salt and vinegar? What? That's on the Mount Rushmore of snack food. Salt and vinegar chips.
What do you mean? Okay, so first of all, okay, I know you're a sport guy, but let's talk chips. Miss Vicky's are the best chips in the world. Bar none.
And there are but there's it's in the running, but there is a salt and vinegar flavor of Miss Vicky's, and they are delicious.
I didn't know about that though. I didn't know about that.
It's like the greenish bag.
I didn't know.
The greenish turquoise bag.
Now I look like a Canadian.
Get acquainted. Get acquainted at an SAQ or whatever they got in Montreal, and get yourself a bag of no, not SAQ. SAQ is a
it's alcohol.
Liquor store, right? Alcohol. Yeah, sorry, not SAQ at all. Dépanneur or something like that. Whatever you guys call it.
Yeah, dépanneur.
Dépanneur, yeah. Get some Miss Vicky salt and vinegar. It'll change your life.
So now, I mean, you're with Bleacher Report, and you're doing amazing work. Been following
Thank
you
you.
left and right, and so what sport are you missing the most since the beginning of all this?
Oh, good question. I guess basketball. I mean, being in the United States, so I've been here since September, so it's like 8 months. And in
Yeah,
America, the sports that get the most attention are NFL first, then college football, then the NBA, then college basketball, and then everything else. So it's kind of refreshing in a way. I mean, hockey in Canada is the NFL of our country.
yeah,
So it's like obviously heavily dominated by hockey coverage. So being here, it's a nice break. And I guess I miss the NBA because it's the sport where like there's the most conversation, there's the most engagement because NBA Twitter has been around for probably 8 or 9 years, and it's the most entertaining place on the internet during live sports is NBA Twitter. I mean, and it's just like an unofficial hangout, but like the best hangout because we're either talking about commenting on what guys wore going to the game, obviously the performances of the game, some spectacular finish. Maybe there's something that happens after the game. Someone's kid does something funny in a press conference, or there's some shade being thrown, or it's just the juiciest of the leagues as far as conversation for the audience because it's not just what happens on the court, which makes it so enticing. So I think I'm missing basketball the most.
okay, so let's bring NBA Twitter alive. Let's I'm gonna ask you something, and
Yes, sir.
after I'm gonna tell you my opinion, and we might fight. But if LeBron James,
We're not going to fight, Kev.
we're not because we're far away. But if LeBron James wins the championship this year, does it tarnish like the championship? Because he's gonna be at what, 4-2
No,
away from Jordan?
no, no,
What do you
no,
mean
no.
no?
Look, the players, if anything, it's actually even more of an achievement because since we've been off for 2 or 3 months, most teams are going to be at 100% health. And usually in sports, the healthiest team is the one that wins. It's the championship because it's just such a grind for 82 games in hockey, 82 games in basketball, 162 in baseball, and 16 in football, which it's like experiencing a car crash every game because it's so physically demanding.
Yeah,
But now you're playing against players at full strength. I mean, they're even saying that Kevin Durant, who blew out his Achilles in June of 2019, he might return to the playoffs for the Brooklyn Nets. So every guys are bumped and bruised. Their fingers are dislocated, knee problems, shoulder problems, ankle. Everybody rolls their ankle at least once or twice a year. Like those little injuries are starting to heal. So if LeBron can win an NBA championship with his third team and presumably be the NBA Finals MVP for a fourth time. I mean, he's already in rarefied air with Michael, and that just makes the conversation more compelling. I think,
don't go there. Don't
you
go
know,
there. Don't go there.
what do you mean? Listen,
Don't
Kev,
go there. Don't.
I
Please
know we
don't.
just saw a 10-part documentary, a 10-part commercial of the greatness of Michael Jordan. I get that. And it was an achievement for ESPN, for the Jordan brand, for Michael. And that 10-part documentary series was cocaine in a syringe filled with heroin, which was in a can of Red Bull that I poured all over my salt and vinegar chips and I ate by the handful. Like I just digested. I couldn't wait for Sunday nights because I was addicted to that series, The Last Dance.
But
But
don't please, for the love of God, do not open that can of worms. We've been talking to each other for 5 minutes, and you're gonna open the discussion between who's the best between Michael and LeBron.
listen, this is where I split the hairs. And I enjoy nuanced basketball conversations. I kind of hate when sports fans debate greatness. They just go to the icing on the cake first and not the entire meal of an athlete's career. So with that said, I look at LeBron's sustained greatness for 17 years. Michael played for 13, and two of those 13 were in Washington. And yes, he like 5 of his prime years, the 2 when he went to play baseball, and the 3, actually I can't even call the 3 after he finished in 1998 prime years, because he was already 36 years old.
Yeah.
But LeBron has been playing at a level of greatness from like he lived up to the hype. Like Michael Jordan was allowed to be born and created and ascend to the greatest of all time. But LeBron had the expectations as a 16-year-old when he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So he didn't even have a chance to fail. And obviously you're going to fail because that's just how life is. But at 23 years old, that guy took a team of cast-offs and like marginal and some good players to the finals. Yes, they got swept by San Antonio's big 3 of Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker. But on his back, he brought it as a 23-year-old. And like LeBron has never been eliminated in the first round. Michael got eliminated in the first round a bunch of times. But here's the great divider. This is how I split the hairs of greatness. I say Michael is the greatest basketball player, but LeBron is the best. LeBron's resume isn't the same as Michael's, equivalent to Michael's, but LeBron is a complete player. I think he's better than Michael, and the stats and the data will prove it. Will back up my argument. And listen, LeBron by the end of his career, he's going to have every important record: scoring, rebounds, assists. Like all his career totals will pass Michael's career totals just by sheer excellence and sustained excellence for 17. I mean, he's 34. He was born in 1984, December 30th, 1984. And look, because he invests $1.5 million a year on his body, like LeBron could potentially play till he's 40. And when LeBron plays in the NBA, and if Bronny joins him and LeBron goes to play for whatever team drafts Bronny, imagine that full circle. Like imagine that narrative, imagine that drama and that legacy for LeBron, a guy who grew up without a father, then has a chance to be a father in the sport that he loves with his son. Like listen, The Last Dance was very compelling. It was very entertaining. There were moments of celebration and euphoria. There were moments of dread. And Michael had the gift of an incredible relationship with his father. And then we heard Michael the first time he won a championship without his dad in 1996. He was crying on the floor of the locker room after they beat the Sonics, and you heard the guttural like cry and scream from Michael. We never heard that audio before. But LeBron has a chance. Like if Bronny elevates and his career takes him to the NBA, and if they can imagine they won together, that would be incredible. There have been precedents of athletes playing with their dads, like in baseball, Ken Griffey Sr. I don't think Barry Bonds and his dad played together. I think they missed, but Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. played together. They didn't make to the playoffs, and they didn't win a World Series. But if LeBron could do that in basketball, that would be amazing and uncharted territory.
Okay, now, I let you speak for 4 straight minutes. Now, I let you talk. In the pod, we say parler ma parole, talk my talk. I let you talk your talk. Now I'm going to talk my talk. Here you go,
Please
baby.
do.
I'm a huge LeBron James fan. Man, if I could meet LeBron a second time, because the first time I failed very bad, but if I could meet him a second, I would give like an arm. This is my dude. But the fact that the man lost the way he lost against Dallas, I don't put the loss against San Antonio on him. He was 23. He had nobody with him. But against Dallas, with that squad? Oh, hell nah, man. Yo, 8 points? Nah, man. I will never forgive him that day. Because,
if I can, and listen, I'm a Team Kobe guy, and I am a card-carrying member, of Team Kobe for life. But I will defend LeBron one little bit. Basketball is all about chemistry. And that team came together. Yes, there are 3 Hall of Famers on that team, and 2 Hall of Famers on Dallas. Jason Kidd was at the end of his career, and Dirk obviously was the alpha dog on Dallas. But basketball is all about fit and chemistry. And they had a season to kind of work it out, and they failed on the biggest stage, but the pressure was unbelievable. Every night, every team gave the Heat their best game. And yeah, it didn't work. And, shout out to Coach Dwayne Casey, who was a defensive mastermind who game planned against LeBron, D Wade, Chris Bosh in that NBA Finals in 2011. He was the defensive guy. Rick Carlisle was the offensive guy. And they were successful, but then, they learned. They learned the next year. They beat OKC in 5 games, and then the year after that, they beat San Antonio in 7 games, and then they got waxed, the following year in 5 games. But still, like, they figured it out. But it took time. It took time. They needed, as my friend Brendan Lynch says, they needed some time to marinate in the oven, and they needed to cook, and they did, and then they got rolling.
Okay, now let's leave that convo alone, because, I love LeBron James. I don't want to disrespect the man, but I just want to say that series, because when you like a player, when he says not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, when he grabs the role of a villain, we became a villain with him. It's just like wrestling. He said, "Are you a wrestling fan?"
Not really, but I understand the idea of like the good guys and the heels and the villains. I understand all that.
So that's what he did. So I was a heel with him, and then I looked back. This is the moment of the pod where I tell you can buy the Sans Restriction gear at www.zonekr.ca. www.zonekr.ca. I don't know how to say that in English. It's pretty much the same. So you buy a mug, a hat, a toque, or beanie, whatever you want to call it, and you help the podcast to make sure that this podcast lives on forever, and make sure that we can produce not 1, not 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4 podcasts a week. So let's go back to Cabbie and that chips convo. We need to get back to that chips convo, because this is the most important issue right now for me in my head, because this chip convo, it's real. What do you think about the NHL going 2014 playoff?
I love it.
Oh, no,
you guys might play the Pittsburgh Penguins. And listen, there hasn't been, and shout out to Carey Price, who is, he probably has the hardest job in hockey, to be the goaltender of the Montreal Canadiens with that history. And he has to play in Patrick Waugh's shadow. And every time Patrick Waugh won the Stanley Cup, he was the MVP. He hoisted the Conn Smythe Trophy. He is an unprecedented goalie. Martin Brodeur also. I don't know what it is about French goaltenders, but they're the best. Brodeur, Waugh, Marc-Andre Fleury. But Carey's got to play in that shadow. And this is, okay, they say never waste a good crisis. Now is the time to experiment with the format, because the world is in flux. So I applaud the NHL for trying something new and trying to liven up the playoff format. NBA is thinking about playing a World Cup format, and Adam Silver had floated the idea a couple of years ago of like a mid-season play-in tournament to replace the All-Star game to generate interest in the middle of the season. I love outside-the-box thinking like that. The purists and the traditionalists, they may have a problem with that because people just love their comfort and they don't really love change that much, but change is good. Evolution of the games are good. And the NBA's also floated out this 1 through 16 format, which I think is cool. I mean, they're going to have to play in hub cities, which without fans, but hey, that's the world that we live in right now. This is our new normal. So for the NHL to go out of the box and play something which is like so foreign to the way that the game's been played for so many decades, I think that's cool. And I embrace it. I just want to see high level sports. And I don't know if we'll get the highest level. And certainly by playing in August, the ice is not going to be great. I mean, they already say the ice in Madison Square Garden in New York is terrible come the playoff time because of the heat. Imagine, now I'm thinking like San Jose, Vegas, Dallas is in the playoffs. I'm trying to think. St. Louis. I don't know if I think Tampa Bay is in the play. I can't remember, but and some of those buildings won't be great. It won't be great hockey, but it's the same surface for both teams. Go ahead, Kev.
My only point is How can you have 77% of your league in the playoffs? I know it is a pandemic and everything, but I feel like it devalues the playoffs. It devalues the Stanley Cup. You can't have 77% of your league in the play. So 70% can win it. The reason why I respect so much the NFL and winning the Super Bowl. And I'm a Bears fan, and it's shit right now for us.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's
tough,
tough.
Kevin.
It pretty bad. It's I mean, oh god, but it's only the top two of the divisions. It's not everybody in the playoff. It's hard to get in the playoff, and when you get in, you appreciate it that more. I'm not happy right now that we're in the playoffs. We don't deserve to. We lost 2 times 8 in a row this year. How can we be in the playoffs? I don't know, man. I don't know. But I feel you, though. I feel you, but I just don't know.
That's I think you're right on its surface that is too many. Those are too many teams to be in the playoffs. But I don't mind. Like we're in the most unique time since World War II. Of these leagues. So things are gonna change. And back then there were only 6 teams. And now we have 30 or 31 in hockey, 30 in basketball, 31 hockey, 32 in. Is it 31 in hockey and 32 in the NFL?
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be more exciting. And listen, if somehow a complete underdog out of left field like the Vegas Golden Knights make a run to the Stanley Cup Final like they did in 2017, that's all the better. It's all the more compelling. The LA Kings were an 8 seed when they won in 2012, and they beat the Ducks, the Sharks, and Sharks
in 15.
Another team. The Kings in 12.
In 12, they beat the Rangers.
Yeah, in the finals they beat the Rangers, but getting to the finals. I can't remember the other team maybe the Stars, maybe it was the Blues or something. But all I'm saying is like it was still pretty compelling. And if one of these long shots, like your Montreal Canadiens, happen to, or the Columbus Blue Jackets, or they're on a long shot, but happen to make a run deep in the playoffs, I think that'll be cool because there are stars in every team. And if you get a hot goaltender, and it's all about goaltending in the playoffs. Shout out to Jordan Binnington. Shout out to Matt Murray. Shout out to Braden Holtby. That's what's going to do it. That's who's going to carry a team. And you just got to get hot at the right time.
So when you started, or not when you started, but when I started at TVA Sport, when I started my work on TV, they all wanted me to be just like Cabbie. They said, you're going to be the French Cabbie. Like, so much pressure, okay? So the black guy gonna be the other black guy. I was like, oh my God. I was like looking at your videotapes, trying to learn what you were doing and stuff. And then I said, I'm gonna be me and that's it. What interview?
I'm so sorry that they compared us. That sucks.
Oh my God. You don't even know how much they... Like, I'm 24 getting in, and they say, you're going to be Cabbie. I'm like, oh, damn. But is there an interview that you wish you could redo?
Oh, great question. Excellent question, Kev.
Thanks.
Many of them. There are always times where after the interview, I'm like, oh, I should have made this joke, or I should have said this line. I'm trying to think. There have been some bad ones, and we only put the best stuff in there. And sometimes when I like try to mask the interview by adding way more highlights and graphics, versus putting the content of the interview in, I just try to like dress it up a little bit.
I feel you. Did that a lot.
yeah, right. Okay, yeah, we have the same experience. I'm trying to think of a memorable one that wasn't very. I mean, I wish I had more time with Michael Jordan, but I kind of ambushed him twice on golf courses. But specifically the times where I had, I had an interview set up and I had a certain amount of time with a player. Let me think. Man, The only one I can think of, because it's like more recent, is I did an interview with Michael Thomas, who's the wide receiver, like the all-world wide receiver with the New Orleans Saints, and it kind of sucked. Like, it wasn't really that interesting. I put a ton of highlights in there because every answer from Michael Thomas was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. They were like one word, one line answers. And I was like, oh. And sometimes I just show up when a guy's either in a bad mood or just not ready for my energy and my style of interviewing. I'm not big on stats and analytics. I try to entertain the audience first and inform second. Whereas regular reporters have to inform first and maybe be entertaining second, but they have a job to, extract information for a certain storyline or whatever. And I just want to go have fun. So when the guys aren't having as much fun, it's like, it's just not that great. So that's one of them that comes to mind that didn't turn out as well as I'd hoped.
Hey, the way you said it right now, entertain first, inform second. That's my motto. Like, that's what I believe. There's reporters. Go listen to reporters if you want to be informed, or check your phone. Let's be entertaining.
That's a great point.
So is there a guy or a girl that you interviewed and you're like, man, his or her personality doesn't fit with me, so I don't know how it's gonna go? And then you're like, damn, we should go eat right now because we're best friends.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Going in. Okay. So did I go into an interview with a certain idea or perception of the person I was going to interview, which was maybe a little negative, and then they changed it by the end of it? Yeah. Yes, that's happened to me. The first person that comes to mind is Ken Griffey Jr., and I interviewed him on a golf course at a Michael Jordan event, and I heard that Ken Griffey was kind of surly with the media. He was like not really like that friendly. And we had a great conversation. It totally changed my mind. It wasn't quite like, hey, let's go get a meal, but it changed my mind. That was a small one. Let me trying to think of who was.
What do you mean Ken Griffey was a small one? Ken Griffey's.
But you know what? I didn't get to. Sorry, I didn't really get to spend that much time with Ken Griffey. It was maybe like 2 minutes, but it was a part of a series of interviews that I did at the golf course that day. So I also interviewed Marcus Allen, Wayne Gretzky, John Smoltz, Jason Taylor of the Miami Dolphins. So it was like a collection of people. And then, and Ken Griffey was a part of that. And then I did a separate one with just Michael Jordan, or maybe I mixed Michael Jordan into it because I only got to have like 60 seconds with him, unfortunately.
60? But,
wow, man, Kevin, like sometimes you get a hard 5 minutes, excuse me. And that's it. Or sometimes you get like 2 minutes where you get 3 questions and that's it. And then they're moving on to the next reporter, or that's just the end of the time that you have because an athlete came out of the showers late, or they had to get treatment. So you're just waiting around, and then they got to run to the bus. So you have 90 seconds walking through the hallway from the clubhouse, or from the dressing room to the bus. And that's not ideal. So we're always in these situations where we're always operating against the clock. Very few times where you have, say like this, a podcast where you can have 30 minutes or 45 minutes to talk to someone and you actually breathe in the conversation versus just these quick hitters. So there was a moment I interviewed Eli Manning a couple years ago. Legitimately, PR lady's like, okay, you got 3 minutes. This also happened with David Beckham. So I had an expectation of 10 minutes. Wow. And then with Eli Manning, they're like, you have 3 minutes. And then with David Beckham, it went from 10 minutes to 5. And this is just before I started my intro. So in my head, I am editing out questions, and I know that I'm on a time crunch. So I'm rushing through to get everything in while editing on the fly, while trying to listen to the answer of the question, just so I can at least respond to it, or I can just move on. So there have been some pretty tight windows that I've had to operate in, but the final product turned out all right. But do I wish I had more time? Absolutely. Because, ideal for me is like 10 to 15 minutes. It's like someone showing up on a talk show. You get 10 to 12 minutes to just kind of screw around and have some great moments, hopefully. And then it's like, yeah, that was awesome. And hopefully the audience enjoyed it too. But sometimes it's just like 2 or 3 minutes and you got to keep it moving.
Okay, now we got to keep it moving like here too, because we're almost done with you. We're almost done with you, but I want to make sure I want to make sure that people know where to find you. People know more about your work. So tell me more about what are your next projects? Like, what excites you right now? Are you still hungry? Do you want more?
Do I ever? Thank you, Kev. So I'm in Las Vegas right now, and I'm working with Bleacher Report, and I'm working on the Bleacher Report betting team. So Bleacher Report has these portfolio brands. There's BR Kicks, there's BR Gridiron, there's BR Football, like soccer. There's us, there's BR Betting. So it's a smaller brand, but it's growing. And, in the United States, there are 16 states that have legalized sports betting of the 50. It may not ever get to 50, but it's growing in popularity and being more accepted into the mainstream. So what Bleacher Report is great at is like always using time or always carving out time for reevaluation, self-evaluation, lessons learned. What can we do better? How can we improve? It's all, like every month we're in one of these planning sessions where we're trying to improve the product or trying to improve how we engage with the audience and build this community of sports fans. Because, our portfolio brand has a different voice than BR Kicks. The sneakers crowd does, you know what I mean? And sneakers crowd may not necessarily be sports fans, but because sneaker culture is another thing. It's a lifestyle versus like athletic performance.
Yeah.
So I work on a game day game show, we call it. We did our first season, and obviously the pandemic interrupted everything. So I'm really looking forward to when sports return, so we can return to doing our game show at the Caesars Palace Hotel here in Las Vegas. And then in the fall, we do a Bleacher Report. We call it a BR Betting Show, and it's a football show on the weekends, NFL, and it's like hardcore NFL. And I work with a lady named Kelly Stewart, who is like a legit gambler. Like, she is dialed into the gambling community here in Las Vegas. She's so informed. And bro, like I just listen to her when I make my little $50 and $100 bets. She's rolling with it in a different betting bracket that I am. But it's fun to like learn the language of betting and some of like the little, I don't know if they're tricks is the right word or hacks is the right word, but just a little bit more of that subculture so that we can like engage with the people that are really into betting.
Wow, I'm gonna tell you something. You guys are doing a great job. Remember, I saw the Ocho Cinco thing on Instagram, and I said, "Okay, I'm gonna follow BR underscore betting on Instagram." And thank you so much for giving me your time, and it was good. We got to do a part 2 someday, because I think we got a little more discussions in us.
Let's do one. Let's do one when either the NHL resumes or basketball resumes. Basketball might resume in July, or they're talking about, I think, training camp starting July 4th, and then
something like that.
Games like mid-July. But yeah, let's definitely revisit in the summertime as sports get closer to resuming, and then we can, as sports fans, we're just hopeful. Like, we just hope our teams perform well and our favorite players perform well, and that we're excited by the competition and the results.
That's it. And by the time we talk again, I'm gonna send you a few wrestling matches we can watch, and let's talk about it. Okay, thank you so much, man.
My pleasure, brother.
Yo, what a time with my boy Cabbie, man. What a time. I hope that I'll work with him one day, man. Can you imagine the fireworks? Cabbie and I? Whew! Lord have mercy. If one day Cabbie and I are on the same show, Lord have mercy on us, because this show will be lit. So, man, thank you so much for giving me your time, Cabbie, and thank you so much for inspiring me to do what you're doing right now. So, don't know if I told you that on the pod, but you inspired me a lot to watch a lot of your tape, watch a lot of the way you conduct yourself in an interview, and the way you do them interviews. I think I have the same philosophy. I don't know how you say it in English, but I think the same way, and I really appreciate what you do for not only the reporters and the hosts and everything doing this business, but for young black men that want to do that. I saw you on TV and I felt that I could do that too. So it's very important what you did. Also, you can go on zonekr.ca, buy a mug, buy a hat, buy a beanie toque, help the podcast to make sure that it lives on forever. You can follow us on Instagram at Sans Restriction. And I want to thank my dude Bruno Mercure, the partner of the pod of the people. And I want to thank Mathieu Brutus for the song. He's listening to every podcast. I'm so happy. He's my dude. So yeah, let's be safe, everybody. And no fingers in the mouth if you're outside. No fingers in the mouth.